feel it now. It's all around me, a silent voice I can't deny. A mother's arms, how they surround me. They sing the beauty of my life.
It will last forever. It will never fade away. Never cause me pain. This love, this love.
I close my eyes. It takes me memory deep down in my soul. I'm safe to be beside you.
It will last forever. It will never fade away. Never cause me pain. This love, this love.
It will last forever. It will never fade away. Never cause me pain.
It will last forever. It will never fade away. Never cause me pain. This love, this love.
This love, this love.
Om Shanti, everyone. Very warm welcome to your dose for the inner cure, your spiritual vaccine. I could just sit and watch that video all night. I was just telling Santosh and Sister Gita, oh my, we haven't had one day off. I wish we could go to the beach. It was just so funny. Hold on, let me turn this down. And we were just wondering to ourselves, like, wow, we really took our vaccine for our cure, which is really our time with you and our time to be together and to also stay on top of our game. And I've appreciated every moment of it. There isn't a doubt. Today we did a nice production for the educational wing in India, which I think is going to be broadcasted tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that. And we ended our Memorial Day retreat just about an hour ago. So we had over 600 or 700 participants, and it was a wonderful retreat from folks from the Middle East to Europe, India, America, Central, South America, and of course Canada and the USA. And again, I'm just so amazed by technology, and yet, it's still an illusion. And what I mean by that is, we don't need technology to communicate. We need love to be the greatest communicator between us as human souls. Anyway, so today's topic, right, Sister Gita, is about loving the self, learning to love the self. It might not be my strongest topic. I was telling Santosh this week, and that I've gotten all topics this week of inner self, work on yourself, fix yourself, make yourself right. And I thought, I think Antonia's signaling something to me or something. But nonetheless, it's a journey, and we're all here together. As you can see, I'm in a giggly mood today because there's been a lot of moving pieces. And you know, remember those days when we were in college and we did not get a lot of sleep? And you would get, what's that word when you were sleep deprived and you got discombobulated? Even yogis get like that at times. They get to that point that they're like, okay, what day is it? What time is it? Where are we? What's my name? So I remembered once, it's a funny story. This was the day when there was no lockdown many, many years ago. And I did this, I can remember that I did this 2 or 3 times in my lifetime. That my inner and maybe outer world is moving at such a velocity, like the speed is incredible. And somebody called and said, hello, can I talk to Sister Jenna? I go, she's not here, who's calling? And I went, oh my, that's me. And that was the time that I realized you've got to sit down and just breathe and just do nothing for a little bit. And I tell you these stories because we're talking about the ability to love the self. And for the last 2 months, if you've been with me every day, this has been a really big emphasis. And in order for the love to increase, the virtue of honesty is so needed. You'll hear me say it again and again and again and again. So when we are looking at learning to love the self, I thought that the video that was played today set the tone for us. Those were places that I had visited and captured on my phone. Again, you all know I like to produce these little videos when I get these snippets, these moments in the day that I feel my intellect is free and my hands are free. And so I would just put it together. And I'm really fast at it. I don't know where it came from. Oh, and I took care of Sister Gita, and she was so appreciative of that. But the video footage of the water, the oceans that you saw Turks and Caicos. You saw, I think it's the Pacific in Thailand. Would that be the, no. In Thailand, please forgive my geography. And then there was Miami. And then, where was the other one? You had Turks and Caicos, Thailand, Miami, and Antigua. And so you saw you just visited the energy of the oceans in those particular spaces. And the captions of some of the words, and even the one where we were breathing, and I could hear the ocean, I literally could smell the air. I could smell it. Did you smell it? Did you? Because I could smell it. I could really smell it. And I thought that with our topic tonight, that the song that was played on This Love, the visuals, the captions, are about taking us on that journey. So, welcome. I've just gotten my center. Took a while because I just came out of the retreat and this and that and sending information. So, what I wanted to start on is learning to love the self. I think when we start to look at our lives from this place, we might be in a place where we're recognizing that we're not taking care of ourselves. Whether it's our bodies that we're not honoring, by lieu of a relationship, the choice of a partner that we select, by lieu of the food that we put into it, or the extracurricular activities, or the lack of movement, or even sometimes just the way we dress, walk, move around, and even keep our body. I remembered once I saw a young man. He must have been about 19 or 20. And he was driving in a car, but he was so slouched down. And I know it might be a cultural fad thing, but he was so slouchy. And I just thought, with that kind of a body language, that makes me think that that particular person doesn't have a lot of energy. And so I thought, because he's only 19, I knew him, who would hire him? That was the question that I had. And when he and I spoke, I had to go right to that particular point. I asked him, why would you slouch? And he goes, it just makes him comfortable. It's the way that I feel. And then I asked him, well, what's your vision for your future? Then he gave me a beautiful vision. And then my question is, how are you intending to get there? And he gave wonderful ideas. And I thought, well, do you think you have the energy or the drive? And there was some duality there, because there was a factor of going back to blaming his economical background and his family and the country, versus what can I do to sharpen myself up so that I can fulfill that vision. And we're all in this state. You and I will sit here and ask ourselves for the best of everything, and will not think about what I need to put in to get it. It's like human nature right now. But when we look at ourselves and we ask, I don't know, I think I could be doing better. My body doesn't feel that great. My relationships aren't so great. My mind doesn't find positivity in whatever I'm in. And my finances could be a whole lot better. Could be a whole lot better. So then we look for love in particular ways. My understanding of love, and this is based on my spiritual journey, this is not because someone told me this is what love means, but my understanding of love at this point in my life and my experience of love at this point in my life is that it keeps giving. It's like when there's a lot of love in your soul, that it's carved out your personality, the energy of that love just gives. It's like, what is it, the Energizer Bunny just keeps giving, right? It just never stops. And I believe that every one of us have that potential and that capacity and that recording. But many of us have stopped that energy or have slowed down that energy because as we have been going through life, there has been there's situations and circumstances that have occurred, and they didn't leave us feeling worthy or capable. And when you and I don't feel worthy and capable, we don't feel loved. And sometimes finding the worth and the purity and the faith in the soul that I'm worthy to be loved unconditionally, powerfully, we have to go way, way, way back into past births. Because it makes no sense to me that we are made in God's image and God is the ocean of love. That means my love can't run out if I'm God's child. And God is the ocean of love. My love can't run out. But why is it sometimes you reach a point in your life, you might feel, I just don't have any more to give? Have you felt that? Has anyone felt that? Whether it's in a relationship, in a job, staying on your diet, taking care of the home, just trying to survive. It's like sometimes you reach this point that I just don't have any more to give. And there's a feeling in the soul at that time that I need to be taken care of. I need love. I need power. I need someone to hear me, to care for me, to listen to me. So with that said, when you're able to identify those needs, here's your first step. Become completely accepting that you feel that you have mixed your love with desire. Just think about it a little. I am love. I am loving. I'm God's child. He's the ocean of love, so I must have a lot of love in me. So why would I reach a point that I don't have any more to give? Is something obstructing the flow of my love? And that something would be consciousness, a level of consciousness, a pattern of thinking, a thought process, a belief system, even something traumatic that could have occurred in the past. It's my thought that feeds the trauma and makes it into a bigger story, but it's also my thought that can release me from the experience of that trauma. And when we use this resource of thoughts and it gets stuck in an attachment to a past story, and I want you to think about the idea of having more than one lifetime. Like, I am so certain I've had more than one life. And so I'm carrying with me, like, you've heard of rollover minutes. I believe we also have rollover karmas. Some are additional minutes, additional bonus, additional goodness, and there's some that is slightly in debt and needs me to put more minutes in. It needs me to put more energy in. So when you find that you're just not able to receive the love, there's got to be something that's blocking. So what is that? Could it be a desire? Think of it. Have you ever been in a relationship and wanted to be with someone else? And despite however that person is, it's not enough. Thumbs up, thumbs down on the comment if you can. Have you ever been at a party and you knew you didn't want to be there any longer and you weren't having a good time because the thought of a desire to go home or to get out was much stronger than being present to find the joy in the party? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Have you ever been to a family reunion and you had the thought that you just want to be home alone? You've been at work all week, You've been with the kids, it's been noisy, you've been traveling, and you just want a day alone. That desire didn't really make you feel solid at the family reunion. If you get my idea now. So please investigate this. Whenever a thought emerges and it's trying to pull you too far ahead of yourself, it stops love. Or if it doesn't stop it, it slows it down. If for whatever reason a thought emerges in you and it's trying to compare your present moment to a past experience, and it never lives up to it, whether your past was a great experience or whether the past was something awful, that one thought slows the love down or blocks it from flowing. So just investigate what's happening with the mechanics of consciousness at that time. I'm here, I don't have a choice, I have to be in this marriage, I have to raise these children, I have to be in a job I don't like, I have to be with this mother-in-law, I have to live in a country that maybe doesn't speak my language or supports my values, I have to deal with my body even though it's not working. All of these things that we feel like we have to deal with it, but I want this. But what did I do in the past to deserve this? Whatever it might be, creating that pattern in you, creating that pattern that starts to form a personality in your consciousness to almost confirm to you you don't deserve to be loved. Because the thought has been feeding you for so long, coming either from the past or going too much in the future because of desires, because I'm not comfortable inside my skin anymore, that if you've done this for 1 week, 1 month, a year, let's say you start to just accept it as your norm, 5 years. Say 10 years later, you look for love in different ways because you don't know how to just be in love with yourself. 20 years later. You get what I'm saying? We can get to a point that we don't even remember how to love. And what the media shows you is love, that's not love. That's sensationalism, that's an illusion, that's Hollywood. When it's showing you about this one chasing after this one crying over this one saying you're the lover, that's not love. Learning to love the self requires a few things. And here I'd like to share with you a few. 1, and if Santosh can type it in the comments list, it would be great. Be a good listener to yourself. It's really important to start to listen to as much of yourself as you can. Be interested in the conversation that takes place inside your head. What are you thinking right now? And why? So listen, and listen with kindness. You've got to start to really treat yourself the way that you want to be treated. The second step, the second aspect of looking into this is not just to listen, but the second one is to be truthful. What are your own red flags within yourself? What are those parts of you that you don't trust? You have your own red flags for you, don't you? So be truthful with you, right? Like, truthfully, I don't really like being here. Well, is it that you don't like being here, or is there a part within you don't like to be in? Got it? So this is what it means to be truthful. You can be truthful to say, I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. I don't want to live in this country anymore. I don't want to work this job anymore. Before you make a hasty decision, go inwards and ask, well, where are you inside that you don't want to be? Inside of yourself. So be truthful. Well, I don't want to keep thinking that this part of my life is a dead end. Who made it a dead end? The job, the marriage, the country, or the way you're seeing your capacity, your potential, and your future? Got it? So listen with kindness, be truthful. The third thing in being truthful, it's important that you rewrite who you think you energetically are moving towards being. And I mean that. Like, who are you? The third thing is vision. Got it? Santosh is like, I don't know if I could write all those words, sister. So the third thing is start to envision what is the kind of love that's enough for you coming from you. That's a completely different vision. So the third aspect of the vision is to check what is the kind of love coming from you for you. Got it? And the fourth thing, which I think is really essential, is when you bring all of those three levels of awareness into action. So this is how it'll look. I'm listening. Oh, I'm really feeling calm right now, But truthfully, I got disturbed because I still don't feel like I am where I need to be. I still feel dissatisfied. I'm not taking care of me. Third thing, but you know what? I got this. I'm going to get out of this door. I'm going to get out of this house walking like I'm walking on sunshine. And I just know with all of my faith and belief, something good's about to happen. I'm just giving you an example. And you go into your car and you get into action with that frame of mind. And you feed it very naturally. And you'll start to feel like this gentle awakening of an energy in you. Like it's almost like it's a person. It's a part of you that you stopped listening to. It's very gentle. It's very gentle. It's very strong. It's clear. It's secure. It's connected to God. It's opened to opportunity. It's not afraid to let go so that new things can come towards it. So learning to love the self not only requires you to really accept where you are, but it means for you to move along with this whole awareness that I deserve to be loved and to be loving. And that it starts really with me. In the teachings of Raj Yoga in the Brahma Kumaris, there is a point in our advanced class that touched me till this day. I think it was about 20 years ago. I heard that point, maybe about 18 years ago. And the point in the morning Murli, which is the advanced class, is for all the advanced students of the Brahma Kumaris. It said when you are soul conscious, at that time you are love. It took me such a long time to figure what that meant. When we are soul conscious, when the consciousness and the vibrations of that part of us that's the blossom flower, the soul awareness, God will tell you, this is you. You know, God will say to you, this is how I made you. I made you fully aware that you are worthy and capable and loved and loving. And when you come from this place of soul awareness, you're not attached to the labels. That means you're not attached to the stories. You are living from a place of freedom, a place of peace, a place of joy. And that's why each time you learn more about the power of love within you, it builds your confidence, it builds your strength, it builds your joy, it builds your fortitude, it builds everything around you differently. And when that attachment or that desire comes in, it's locked. So how you feel when you stop loving, when you feel bad about yourself, when you're waiting for someone to come and rescue you, when it's never enough, when you're frustrated, anxious, when you're not happy for the growth or the achievement of someone else, whether it's a sister, a friend, a colleague, if there's jealousy, when you start to look at others and you think they're better than you, or if you think you are better than them, when you just start to feel like you're the victim, that's when those thoughts start to suppress and block the love, and we start to believe in this other narrative. And then we look for love, when all this time it's actually sitting right there in our hearts, wanting to link us to the source. So to learn to love the self, I ask you to listen to yourself with kindness. Listen to yourself with kindness. Be truthful. Create a new vision. Put it into practice. That's it. Listen. Be truthful. Create a vision. Put it into practice. Come into action with it. And it's mystical. You could be just driving in your car and you looked at a tree and all of a sudden love came over you. It might not even have to do with a human being. It might not even need a material possession. It could happen to you when you're walking from the kitchen to the bathroom. When you're going from upstairs your house to the downstairs of your house, you're just like, wow. You start to remember that love has always been there, you just haven't used it. Have you ever left something very valuable in the closet or in a box or in a corner for a long time and it starts to pick up dust? Then the minute you start to clean it off, it gets clean and sparkly again. Have you ever had silver and you've left silver lying around for a while and you looked at it? I remember the days when we used to go to that auction house. Remember when Provi used to take us to this auction place? And it was so funny. It used to be this silent auction. And one of our dear friends used to take us there. It was just such fun. And my goodness, we had lost Sister Gita once. And she had the auction card. And we were wondering, where is she? Only thing is that we kept hearing the guy goes 100, 500, 200. When we looked, it was Sister Gita just lifting up the card like she's bidding and having no idea that she's buying things without knowing what's going on. And I think the man had gotten wind that she just did not know what she was doing. We had to go and beg this guy, please, please, sir, I'm telling you, she knows nothing about what she's doing. We didn't even know she had the card. And he was kind enough to say, nope, but I'll give you half of the stuff. And I was like, oh. And so we got this big dining room table. I mean, it's top of the line wood. She bought it for like $25 at the auction. And it was one of those items, or $50, was one of those items that he just wanted to get rid of. I don't know how much that table cost because we know it's really a good table. And he made sure Sister Gita took that table because he didn't want to keep it anymore. And that's got to be the heaviest thing we had ever experienced. And I go, that's why he wanted to get rid of it. Nobody would have the guts or the common sense to move this table. It was just horrible. But anyway, I'm going off track with our conversation, but I'm just telling you that this ability, to really, really pay attention to your life. It's your act of learning a lot about love, and that moment can just slip right in when you least expect it. You can just feel the love awakening little by little. If you're consistent with paying attention, I'll be happy to give you my consistent timetable, 3:30, 4 o'clock every morning, then 6 o'clock morning class, then 8 o'clock, 8:30 breakfast, then 9:30, 10 o'clock radio shows, meetings, and the days goes on. Sometimes I get to sleep. But my day's consistent. It's not optional. And in the consistency, it becomes easier to do it. Like folks will just say, how could you do it every day? I'm like, well, if I do it only sometimes, it gets harder. Because I've brought in another kind of energy that might be going in another direction. So the wheel isn't spinning strong enough to, deflect any negative thoughts or interruptions that are coming in, because I'm interrupting it all the time. So when you have a consistent cycle, but that is a routine, you'll be fine. It'll just become a force to keep you going. I guarantee that. It really is very helpful. Very helpful. Even today we were laughing about we don't have a vacation. It's because we saw this beautiful water. And when we had the museums open, there were times that we could go away for 2-3 days, or I would be invited to do a lecture at a university or at a company or at a corporation or at an event. So I used to travel a lot. So when I would go to these places, I would get a few hours in the window and they would take me on a tour, and I would look at the water, or I'd look at their spaces, or look at their country and look at their landmarks. And that was always nice. It was refreshing. But what I valued the most was the shared expression of love between me and someone that I didn't know. Just to be curious, just to be interested, to learning more about who they are. All right, so I gave you some tips about learning to love the self. Again, I shared with you it's important to be truthful enough to recognize your own red flags than to keep looking for the red flags from others, but try to find a way to know what yours are too, so it doesn't get in your way to block the love from really flowing. If you allow your love to be consistent, it will come up power in you that will protect you in the long run down the road. Okay, so do we have any questions up today, or maybe what we can do is going for a meditation? Why don't we do a meditation now? It's been a lot of information shared. And then when we come back, then you're more than happy to ask whatever questions that you'd like. I hope you enjoyed the sharing so far. Thumbs up, thumbs down, no worries. Okay, so let's take a deep breath. Breathe out. Breathe in again. breathe out. Let's go inwards.
The source of benevolence, the source of peace, of light, and especially the source of love. All the ingredients that make human life peaceful, happy, and meaningful. Now, in this meditation, we will concentrate on the relationships with the Supreme Source of life. Gently concentrate the mind. Be still in silence, focusing my thoughts. I reach my home, and in my home I meet my eternal parent. My eternal parent, the one who cares, the one who gives me a true life. And in this sweet silence, in this meeting of myself with my eternal parent, I begin to experience what pure relationship is. The Eternal One is my beloved Mother, who with great wisdom and patience guides and sustains me. My Eternal Mother, who accepts me as I am, cleans me, makes me worthy, shows me my worth and my value in the creation. The Eternal One, the source of light, is my gentle Father, who through love gives me a new life, a new consciousness, a new perspective. The one who directs me towards my goal of realization. My Father, my Mother, is also my friend, and all true love has its highest expression in friendship. And in this friendship, I'm not afraid to share my weaknesses, because I understand that my weaknesses will be removed with sweetness and tolerance. The Eternal One is my immortal friend, the one I can rely on, the one whom I trust so deeply that I can open myself completely. And it is in this divine friendship that I am able not only to find myself, but change myself. This friendship does not judge or criticize, but reveals to me how to change. and constantly inspires me to become better and to emerge the potential within myself. This love of the father, the mother and friend cleans me. In this relationship, in this deep link of the heart to the heart of the Eternal One, the rays of purity and truth wash away the past, the guilt, the fears, the shame. Spiritual love protects and uplifts me. Now, in the silence of my home, I experience the reality of this eternal spiritual relationship. I do not feel alone. I do not feel unwanted. I have a companion, a support. I have a father, a mother, a friend who are helping me to express my uniqueness, my value within this play of life. Let me remain here with the Eternal One, with you, my supreme friend, in the supreme silence, in the supreme light, in your eternal peace. I remain in your presence, and your light and your love constantly flow into my mind and into my heart. Constantly flow into my mind and into my heart. I have found what I was looking for.
Don't you feel like you're loving yourself right now? Just taking this 1 hour out for yourself every day, taking your dose for your inner cure is healing. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thumbs up, thumbs down, smiley face, frowny face. Okay, let's go to some of the questions. Let me start off with Facebook, if that's all right. Ixa, I don't know if you're still on, but the question is how to break those patterns and continue over the years without repeating them. Firstly, Ixa, you're going to repeat them. The difference is they don't have the intensity that they did before. And each time you address the issue that you wish to discontinue, and you make an effort to not feed into that, you're reducing it. However, there's still patterns in us. Sometimes we're just designed in a particular way, but the whole effort here is to reduce it. And in the reduction, there'll be a lot of magical things taking place. That's where a lot of the faith and trust will come in at that point. Ashley, hi, nice to have you. Self-love is the key because we are love and we seek it. We must love self before we can love and enter into it. Okay, got it. All right, listen with kindness. Thank you, thank you. Would you be open to speaking? Antonia will connect with you. Sawadika, thank you very much. Beautiful words. How are you? Hope to see you again in Thailand. Yes, I'm trying to figure out who this is. I can see your face. I can't see it with the thing. But okay, Ixa, good. So you got your answer. All right, great. And Santosh, anything on YouTube? Let me know.
There's one on, it's about how do I be truthful to myself when fear is so deep.
Uh, okay, so wow, that's that's another session. How can I be truthful to myself when fear is so deep? The fact that you're able to sense that there is fear, you are already halfway there. Trust me on that one. That you can know that there are fears inside. We all have fears. By the way, we're starting a new morning live session called Wise-ish from 8:30 in the morning to 8:45 on America Meditating Radio. And so it's actually shifting fear into love. So that was going to be a really good segment, which will be starting pretty soon. And we'll send out a notice on that. One thing I want you to accept, you're not alone with fear. Every one of us have fear. It's just at different levels. It has a different interpretation in our heads. The thing about fear, it's just a thought. But it's a thought that's invested in such a deep remembrance of something in the past. Either something I did, or maybe something that was done to me. But fear is mostly driven by choices I've made that I feel there's a consequence in which I'm supposed to pay back. So, the way that I've understood fear, and something that I have done in the past, is I will write a letter, or if I'm doing simple things around the house, whether it's ironing or just, this was really back in the days when I did this many, many years ago, and it was very healing for me. In my mind, I will have a dialogue with all the people, all the souls that I might have met in many lives that I wasn't right with. And in my mind, I'll tell them, I'm so sorry. If I'd known better, I would have done better, but I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And there's something that starts to clean out in your conscience and in your chest. The second thing you can try is to have more remembrance of God with love. That remembrance of God will settle any debts that you might be feeling you're walking with and afraid of the payback. The more there's loving remembrance of God from a place of soul consciousness, nothing will touch you. And even if anything, bothers you, it'll be a little bit. It'll be like just a pinch. And again, I have proof of that. So give that a try. Okay? All right. So any tips on not getting stuck in the what if? What if? Have you ever heard my meditation, Carissa? What if I'm not my name, my gender, my role, my religion? What if I'm not this body? Transform your what ifs into something. What if life is great for me? What if I'll find the best people in my life? What if God's love just can't leave me alone? What if I'm just here to be the best that I can be? So just transform your what if from what it could be the worst scenario into what if everything is supposed to be bright for me? And I want you to just try that. It's going to be a massively beautiful experience for you. What if? Right? Okay? So it's going to be great. All right. Christina, this is a big question, and I feel you. So tips on what tips do you have for showing love to your child, knowing that you weren't necessarily given that love and you're learning yourself whilst raising your child? Christina, that's such a touching question. I suspect half of the world feels the same way you do, but they don't know how to ask that question. I bet if you rewind the sacrifices that you've made so far is your act of love. And all I'm asking you to do is to see that. Number one. Number two, if you're feeling that you're not able to love your child, please check your department of desires. If there is the energy of desire pulling you, the I, the me, and the mine, that's lacking love. Whether you were given love by your parents or not important. But the fact that there are desires of things that I want for me to define what is my capability and what's my worth, that could be the block. We're all born to be great mothers as women. You might be a better parent than you think. And don't go watching those televisions about those perfect parents. I don't necessarily believe they're all true. There are stories of some good families. I've met a few. I have. But let me deal with my reality. Okay? So I'm suspecting with you, you've done a great job. I just think your expectations are too high for what you think the interpretation of a great parent is. But I suspect you've done good so far. So let go of anything else that might be pulling you in another direction, thinking you want to do this for you, you want to live your life, you want to get this. It'll come. I've learned this from even taking care of my own mother, that there was a point that I was adjusting to her changes, and I didn't like the person I was feeling because it's not me. I wasn't as kind as I'm accustomed to being, and that was new for me, and even worse so because I knew better. So even worse so, I knew better. But I think after about 6 or 8 months, I got my act together, and talking to God, there was a gentle whisper, says, taking care of her is taking care of the whole world, taking care of yourself too. And so it put everything in perspective, that if you can take care of her, you will know for sure you're able to take care of all of humanity. So in your practice with your child, you're taking care of him or her to become someone who will be able to take care of many others. How do you say no to a loved one? Vashti, this is how you say no. That's it. You just, Vashti, I have no answer for you other than no. Just say no with a smile. I can't. But make sure you shake your head, okay? This is the best way to everyone who's watching. When you want to say no to a loved one, I can't. That's my best answer for you, Vashti, because it works. No one's going to be upset with somebody smiling and very loving and very soft. And then Santosh is laughing back there. And then he says, if they still yell and force at you, then you just, I can. But don't let the smile go, okay? Just keep smiling like, no. All right. Okay. All right. No more negative thinking leads to loving the self. All right. I hope I answered everybody's questions today on Facebook. Good. All right. So we're going to come to a close. I keep running over time, and I'm so sorry because I value your time so much. And I don't know why I keep running over my time limit, but anyway, drama. What advice can you give on being able to trust others? Learn to trust yourself, Erica. So here's how I learned to trust myself. It kind of goes back to the points that I shared earlier. Sometimes you have to be cautious about others. Don't be naive. And when you don't trust others, it could be a signal. And the signal could be waking up something in you too, Erica. So what you want to do is, I don't want to live my life where everywhere I go, I'm this machine that can just sense when I shouldn't trust anyone, I want to build so much love in my vibrational field that even if somebody has a bad motive, they will change. Daddy Janku, who you all know is our great-grand aunt and spiritual mentor, passed away March 27th. And of course, we couldn't go to India to see her off. But she was visiting a country, she was visiting Brazil, and she was being interviewed on national television there. And Brazil's crime rate is one of the highest around the world. And the reporter asked Daddy, well, you talk a lot about peace and love and purity, and, what if somebody were to come and hold you up at gunpoint? Then what would the meditation and peace and happiness do? Daddy Janki answered with conviction, that will never happen to me. Do you know why she said that? Because she knows she has lived her life energetically with so much love and generosity and kindness that those forces wouldn't even touch her. So, Erica, we have to get to that point. This is a great chance now, Erica, to step up in our game, to really get motivated, to really begin to be clear. What am I here for? What's my service? And by doing that, you find that you're not focusing on who not to trust. You're focusing on how powerful to make myself so that nothing negative can come towards me. All right. Ade, warm welcome to you. This was beautiful, felt something shifting, and I also wanted to learn how to sustain this for myself. Well, Ade, it would be great to keep in touch on every night for now. We also offer a Raj Yoga meditation course, whether it's our branch, but any of the Brahma Kumari centers are offering free Raj Yoga meditation courses. I don't know if you're local, if you're in our area. Please feel free to send us an email at meditationmuseum@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to help you. Valerie, still? No. But just keep smiling, okay? This will work all the time. All right, Kailash, wonderful to have you on. Thank you very much. Love to you, Kailash, Dr. Sakdev. That is beautiful. I'm having difficulty with positive talk. Yes. So what happens when we're challenged with having positive self-talk? Maybe we've just seen too much of stuff, so it's normal. Maybe we've heard too much stuff. We've been in families and situations that have just been so toxic. So it's taking us a little while. Now, if you have been in a very positive environment, but somehow you seem to be very negative, then that's a deep-rooted karma from a past life. You can go back in the past life to fix it. So in order to fix it, maybe you can create a routine every hour and an hour. Just have one good wish, have pure feelings or a good wish to someone in your life. Every hour and hour, just wish somebody well. And eventually, you will develop positive self-talk, because sometimes we don't have enough love yet for ourselves to speak to ourselves highly. So to give blessings to other people, to send them your good wishes, will stimulate that strength in you too. Okay? Don't worry. We've all been there, Joyce. At times we just can't get over ourselves. Shami, you're welcome. Always welcome, my dear. Betty Brown, nice to have you. Bajola, Jane. Yes, don't you forget your Bajola. I love that. And Puneet, how to sustain feeling of love. Well, what I can tell you, and I don't mean to be a downer, you will not be able to keep feeling love the whole day, because there's still a lot of issues that are sitting in the soul that we're still working on. But can I tell you that your love is always there? It's just not being fueled. That gives me comfort, that I know that my love is sitting there. I'm just not feeding it. Maybe like what I told others earlier is that checking in with yourself. I don't. This traffic control that we do at the Brahma Kumaris is a lifesaver. You set it on your app, and if you want a really nice app, download the B Zone app by the Brahma Kumaris. Maybe Santosh can type that in. Or our Pause for Peace app from America Meditating. And you can set the timer in your phone to chime in every hour and the hour with just an affirmation or a blessing or a good wish. And you make it like it's your dose. Like, I have to take my pill to keep myself healthy. So because we don't believe in the power of thought that much, it takes a little bit longer. But if we had understood and we keep believing in the power of thought, it would be so easy. So easy. All right, so I'm working so hard, and thank you for clarifying. Erica, my dear darling angel, I've noticed that individuals who tend to be a little hard on themselves have the biggest hearts. Just for this second, let go of working hard on yourself, and I'm just going to invite everybody that's in the room right now to send you their love, letting you know that you're good enough and that God's love has got you. And the only thing you need to do is just be gentle, pay attention, listen, act. It's not hard. It's just taking that first step that can be a little tricky. Okay? So I hope you're feeling all of our love tonight and feeling all of those blessings. And now it's supposed to be easy. If you come on tomorrow, you can't ask me or give me that question, okay? All right, so we'll come to, it's okay. That's because you're very empathetic. What is that word when somebody's sensitive to energies again? I forgot. Anyway, getting emotional doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. It just means you care too much, so you need a balance of knowledge, which is why this program is good for you, to develop some wisdom for you. Anyway, guys, you can have me here all night, and I can't. But I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this evening. And I hope you're sharing all of this stuff with your friends and it's helping them to be of service. If something has touched you, share it with somebody, just in terms of a friendly sharing. I look at it as a form of service in helping others to just get stronger. Keep visualizing people stronger than you saw them last and talk to them from that place of strength. That's how much you can learn to love, not just yourself, but everyone else. Thanks for joining us tonight. Om Shanti, stay safe. We love you. Be really well. Please take care of that beautiful soul of yours. And don't you ever give up on yourself. There's way too much waiting for you to be, do, and offer to a mankind or her kind that's thirsting for power, love, peace, and purity. Take care. Be well. See you tomorrow, and Om Shanti.